Hello everyone, this is Squid Games, aka Hubert Carmerdale on the Legend Bowl Discord. Today I'm going to show you how to build a mod from scratch in Legend Bowl. There have been a lot of questions about how to do logos, how to do different things, how to add different colors, all that kind of stuff. So I figured I would go through and show you how I do it. I don't know if it's the exact right way, but it works. And I've done quite a few mods. I've done the World Cup mod, I've done um, most of the NCAA mod, keeping that one up. I've done a couple of personal ones. We run the LBCL basically through mods as well. So, I kind of know my way around just from messing around and learning how to do it and crashing the game a million times. Um, and I know there's a lot of people who want to do mods, but they're just not quite sure where to start. So I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible, and I'll just kind of talk through how I do it, and hopefully it'll work for you as well. So first thing I wanted to do is get the correct folders open. So we're going to need our local folders, or our local folder open, so we can get to the Legend Bowl where the game boots from. And then we're going to need our Steam apps folder open as well. And generally you never want to touch these Steam apps because if you change stuff in here, you can corrupt stuff and your game's not going to boot and you're going to have to reinstall. But in order to do a mod, there's some files in here that we're going to need that don't show up in the booted folder. So what I did is I just got a blank Legend Bowl folder ready over here. And as you can see, when I boot it, it's just going to be just the base teams. This is just a clean folder with nothing changed, anything like that. Um, so we're just going to go ahead and boot up, and I'm just going to show you the teams and all that, and just show you that nothing's done on here. Editor, we got all our base teams, all that. We have no extra logos, anything like that. And then as part of this video too, I'll show you how I do logos. We'll just run through one real quick, just so I can show you the programs that I use and all that kind of stuff, because that's another thing. If you don't have your logo sized right and all that, it's not going to look right. So basically the starting point is we have our Legend Bowl folder over here, our clean Legend Bowl folder. When you open it up, there's basically nothing in here. So what we're going to do is we are going to take this data folder from Steam Apps, we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it into this one. And now when we open our data folder, we have all the different files that we might need for modding. And once you're all done, you can delete the ones we didn't use, because there's going to be some in that we don't use, like the chain gang, coach sprites, all that. We could actually go through and delete the ones we're not going to need right now, just so we don't get ourselves confused here. So don't need chain gang. Whoops. Don't need chain gang, yes. We don't need coach. We might need coach's user. Colleges we could use. Colors. Colors end zones I generally don't touch, because um, you can set that in game. Maybe we'll leave it open just in case. So coaches sprites we don't need. We want all the colors. We're probably not going to touch hair, jewelry, skin, visors. You can if you want. You can add more visor colors, all that kind of stuff. You can add different skin tones. Like say you wanted to do a fantasy mod with green skinned orcs, you could put those in. But we'll just get down to the basic ones that we might need in order to mod. Like I said, I usually don't do color end zones. I just do that in game, or I hard color my end zones. Let's see, eye color we don't need. Facilities, anything facilities we don't need. First, it would be names generated like in your draft class, so you might want those. Franchise messages, probably won't touch that. News, Hall of Fame, injury. You can actually go in and you can change the name of injuries if you want. I don't know if you can do duration. I've never tried, but you might be able to do that as well. Um, Last name, if you want to change the um, generated last names. Logos, we're going to need. Milestones, we won't. Newspapers, we won't. Player sprites. Players stats, players users, we might need that. Um, Plays, we can update plays. We'll just delete that out for right now. We don't need that one. Referee, we'll leave these roster JSON files. Schedule, we won't need to touch. Staff, stat messages, team stats, tips, and tournament. We don't need any of those. So we're just going to go ahead and delete those and get rid of them just to get down to the base files that we might need. So coaches, we could load this up and we could change coach names if we wanted to. Colleges, you can change which colleges are generated in your draft class. Like if you wanted to do a real world mod and use real colleges, you could put them in there. Right now we just have just the made up ones that we did, and this will be what the game pulls from. I don't think there's really a limit on the amount. I've put in um, a whole bunch for when I did the NCAA mod, so we could get, I think I did like 2 or 3 to 5 colleges or high schools per state, just so it would generate a random amount of players. So I really don't think that there's a set amount on that. Colors, color space mask, and color helmet stripe we will need if we are going to add more colors to the game, and I can show you how to do that. As part of this video, end zones we'll need. This will be where we put our, where we link our end zone files. And it's kind of the same, the logos and the end zones kind of go hand in hand. So we link our end zone and logos in there. First last, like I said, our names that are generated in the draft class. Players user, if we wanted to do any kind of spreadsheet edits of um, names, ratings, things like that. Sometimes it's easier to do ratings like that than to go through individually in um, through the game. Or if we wanted to say um, generate our own rosters, we would end up using a player's user. Same with teams. All the team stuff can be done in game, but sometimes it's easier if you want longer names. I think the game limits to like 12 characters per name if you had something like if you wanted to do, you know, Salt Lake City. I don't think that would fit in game with the spaces, so you could edit those through the um, spreadsheet as well. But we're probably for this we're probably not going to do that. We're probably just going to do all our edits in game for that kind of stuff, just to make it simpler. Um, and then in our custom folder, we're going to have logos. And we're going to have templates. So these will be important because this will give us the size. Oh, we don't have an end zone in here. Oh, yeah, we do. Okay, so this will give us the size of the different things that we may want to edit. So we'll start basic simple here. I'm just going to go back to Legend Bowl. We have all our folders, all our files ready. Now the main thing that most people seem to want to be able to do is add their own logos. So what I do, I use 2 programs. I use a program called the GIMP, which is a free download, and then a program called Sprite, which does cost money. I can't remember. It's on sale quite a bit. I think I paid $15 to $20 for it. Um, they're kind of nice to work in tandem. They kind of work. What one's good at, the other one doesn't do as well, and vice versa. So I kind of like to use them both. Um, so basically, the starting point for doing your logos is to find a logo that you want to do. And I got the Memphis Mad Dogs up here because I've kind of been working on adding some more logos to my logo mod, and I was kind of playing around with adding some of the old defunct CFL teams. I was going to do a CFL mod. I don't know if I'll ever do that because I'll put them all in that logo mod. But anyway, here is the logo for the, I thought it was the Memphis Mad Dogs. Maybe they were going to be Mississippi. Not sure what that's all about, but here's their logo. And, you know, they even had some really terrible uniforms, which are kind of awesome in their own way. So what I do when I do logos is I find a logo, I just open it up here, and then I right click and I copy it, and then I can paste it into the GIMP. And once it's in here, the first thing I like to do is, you know, you can put logos in. You can just resize them, and I can show you what it would look like. You can, actually, I will End up resizing this one. We'll just save it for right now. We'll save it as the Mad Dogs here. I mean, you can skip these steps if you're not like real picky about how they end up looking in game. Um, we'll do two so I can show you. The first one I'm gonna do it, and I'm not gonna to run it through like the pixelation process. So you can kind of see the difference and then see why I end up doing it like that. It just ends up looking better. So the in-game logo size, you're going to want a canvas of 150 by 85, 150 width by 85 height. So just to make sure that we get the logo scaled correctly here, what I'm going to do, and this is what I use Sprite for. I use it for for the um, the scaling of the logo. It seems to scale so much better than the GIMP, so much cleaner. So that's why I do it through here. So the first thing I'm going to do is trim, get rid of all the excess space on the outside. And then we're going to do the sprite size. And I always like to put a border around because the logos in the border or the logos in the game have a white border around, so I like to kind of keep them consistent. So what I do is I know it's going to be an 85 height, so I do it 81 because I know I'm going to want a 2 pixel border around the outside. So I always do my heights at 81. Um, and you can already kind of see why I'm going to do the process that I do, because when you look at it here, you're getting colors that are, it's not a lot of uniform colors. You got some transparent pixels, you got um, pixels blending, but we'll show you how the difference of how it looks in game. So after we scale it down, we will do a canvas size. Like I said, we want to do 150 by 85, and you could actually crank through your logos pretty fast doing it this way. If you don't mind if there is, like I said, some transparencies around it. And I can see that it didn't quite center, so I'm going to want to move it up 1 pixel. And then we're going to get a white color, and the Sprite is real nice because you can do a quick outline, and the shortcut for doing a quick outline is just Shift O. You can see we got one, and then we're going to get a second one in. And as you can see already, we got you might want to do some cleanup. Like I said, I usually do quite a bit of cleanup first before doing this, because you can see the border's not quite even. It looks kind of fuzzy. It doesn't look as clean as we can make it. So, but we will save one of these. We're going to save it as maybe Mad Dogs Unclean. We'll call it the dirty Mad Dog. Mad Dog's dirty. So we got that. So we're basically done with this part of the logo. If we wanted to use this one, but I'm going to show you the process that I generally use to kind of clean these up. So we got the Mad Dog here in the GIMP, and then what I'm going to do is, you saw in the last one where when we scaled it down, or just you could just see the amount of colors. Let's open him back up. You can see the amount of colors on the side here, where we have transparent pixels, we have multiple versions of yellow, all of that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to change this logo to, we want to change the color mode to indexed. And what that's going to do is it's going to basically pick however many colors you tell it. So we're going to tell it 3. I see black, white, yellow mostly. We're not going to worry about this red. We don't really need that. I mean, I suppose we could, and then we could just get rid of that border to make sure that we're not quite as thick. So we'll go 4. We have the red, we have the black, we have the yellow, we have the white. So when we convert this, you're going to see how it's going to basically take like colored pixels and merge them together. So you can see we got rid of a lot of those extra colors. So, it's kind of, sometimes I don't like to go too many colors because like you can see, we got reds going where they don't belong completely, which I don't really like, but we are going to take care of them either way. So we're going to get rid of this border. We don't really need this border. We can always add that after. Um, so we're going to delete that. It's probably going to look better without it anyway. And it's such a small amount of the colors that we don't really need it. So we're going to get rid of that border. We're just going to delete that off. And then we're going to select all these red pixels. This is kind of part of the cleanup process. And then we're just going to grab the pencil. And I'm going to change the ones that are touching the black to black. I'm just going to color them over. And the ones that look like they should be white, I'm going to change them to white. And we're going to see where that takes us. So definitely going to start with getting these blackened. Get rid of all these ones on the outside that are kind of bordering, that look like they could be either yellow or black. We're just going to change them all to black. A lot of times it's just good to pick one and go with it. I'm going to leave those ones touching the eyes. And we're going to change those white. So we're going to kind of do a quick and dirty. I mean, you can spend a long time touching these up if you want to. But sometimes it gets to the point where you feel like you're just moving 1 or 2 pixels here and there. And you're not going to notice it when you're running over it in game anyway. So you kind of get to the leave well enough alone stage. So we're just going to do the quick and dirty. But you're going to see once we get a little farther along in this process why we do this, because it ends up looking so much better than what we had before. And some people don't mind, and they don't mind if their logos go in there and they're a little bit fuzzy. But I notice when I'm doing them, and I want them to be as clean as possible. So I think we got all the ones that we wanted to change to black, so we're going to use a shortcut to select all, and then we're just going to reselect the reds one more time. And actually, this one's going to go black. I think that's going to look better if we do black on that one. We're going to go to white for the rest of these. And you can already see he's looking quite a bit better here. And the ones, we're actually going to up our brush size because I'm not worried about touching anything that I didn't touch. Oh, I missed one there. So we're going to have to grab that with the black real quick. And now my brush is probably going to be too big. No, it'll work. Okay, so now we are going to select all again. And now he's cleaned up pretty well. So we're going to save him. We're just going to export him to Mad Dogs. And for now we are done in the GIMP. We're going to go back to Sprite and we are going to grab our Mad Dogs here. And now, as you can see in comparison, if we bring in the other one, and this is what I was talking about before with the transparent pixels. Oops, wrong program here. See, on the Mad Dogs, the dirty version of the Mad Dogs, you have all these extra colors that could have been merged together that are leading to some of these weird looking fuzzy edges on here. So he's not going to look anywhere near as good in game as this guy. So we're going to go through the same process. Like you can see, we selected 4 colors, so we're down to 4 colors. So he's going to look pretty good, I think. So we're going to trim him down, and then we'll probably won't put in that reddish purple outline. I mean, we can see. Let's see here. Let's shrink them down first. Usually, like I said, I go 81, but we're going to want a 1. It would probably just be a 1 pixel border around them if we add that red. So we'll put them down to 79 because we know we're going to add a 1 pixel red border and a 2 pixel white border. So that'll get us back up to the 85 height. In the method I always use, nearest neighbor scales the best. So when we scale him down, see he got a little bit fuzzy, but he's got that pixel look. He looks pretty good. Um, Definitely going to want to get in and do a little bit of cleanup in there. Um, but he actually shouldn't be too bad. So we're going to get back to the canvas size. Whoops, we hit sprite size. We want to do canvas size. We're going to want the canvas to be 150 by 85. And we're going to want it to center. And he looks pretty good. So let's see how this border, like I said, the um, shortcut for an outline is Shift O. We could probably leave that in there. That looks all right. Just to kind of get it a little closer to how the original was there. And um, yeah, so now we're just going to kind of go through. We're going to grab our pencil, just a 1 pixel, and we're just going to go through and we're going to kind of clean up. And like I said, sometimes it can feel like you're just pushing pixels around. It gets a little bit tedious sometimes, but it all depends how kind of detailed, anal, whatever you want to call it, you want to be um, with your logos. And you can always go back and kind of reference. We still have them open in GIMP, so you can kind of reference, see like where the curves are. Maybe we'll do this one a little bit thicker. It kind of a little bit of an eyebrow there. Whoops. We're just going to kind of reference back and forth with the one we have open in the GIMP. And just try to get them looking as good as we can get them. And like I said, it's kind of all the amount of time that you want to spend on this stuff. Some people give it the this is good enough kind of treatment. Let's take a look at his eye here. Whoops. Okay, so we do want that one to be in there. Just so we can kind of get it to look fairly good. Just kind of go back and forth and reference that as much as you want. Just to kind of, that doesn't look so good over there. Well, that eye's not doing so hot. We're going to go back to how it was. Oh, it's a little bugger here. Kind of in deep focus mode here. Trying to get this to look not horrible. Oh, I think maybe less white and more. Oh, that's stupid. I don't want it to look like a cross. It's doing okay. It's just this is not cooperating real well here. We'll go back to a black one here. And like I said, you can really put in a lot of time doing these. If you want, I think we need a little more black in there. It's not looking real great. Alright. If we had some black underneath it, it would look a little better too. It's not touching He's a mad dog anyway, so his eye is a little messed up. So be it. The beady little eye is going to be staring at us when we play our game here. Just not feeling the... That looks alright. That looks alright. We're not going to kill ourselves over the eye, so we're just going to kind of continue to go through. You know, when I'm doing these, I don't like a lot of sharp edges, like this here and this here. So I like to kind of give them more of a rounded look. They kind of look a little bit better in the long run. And if we have to add a few pixels here and there, just to kind of get it as consistent as possible. Probably add a little more black down here, these spikes. You know, they don't look too bad. I mean, when you're taking a logo that's, you know, a certain size and then dropping it down, making it smaller, you know, you're going to lose some detail, obviously. So the amount of dicking around you want to do in here is completely up to you. Don't want to lose that kind of sharpish teeth look here. I don't think that's looking too bad. You're definitely going to end up losing detail, and then it's just kind of up to you to decide how much messing around you want to do. And I can already tell you that I'm never going to use this team, so I'm not going to use this logo. That's negative. That's negativity. I don't want to feed into the negativity. So maybe we will. He doesn't look bad. Alright, so like I said, it's just a matter of going in and cleaning up and deciding how much time you want to spend on your logos. Just going to try to get a little more of the white in there to show for the teeth here. But I still want to get some separation of the teeth as well, so you can maybe put one up here. Do a little bit more here. Just so we got some tooth separation. You can kind of see what I mean by, you know, you can sit here and push pixels around forever, and you know, sometimes you hit the point of not really feeling worth it anymore. But I think for the most part we got it looking pretty good. So we're going to get rid of some of these sharp edges, make it look a little more rounded. We could probably do a little bit of that down here too. Maybe do another one here, just to kind of make it look a little cleaner. Get rid of some of these big gappy ones. Probably add a little bit more down here if we wanted to as well. It just kind of boils down to tweaking a little bit, seeing what looks right. And I should probably mention too that, you know, I'm no pro artist or anything. This is merely hobby level stuff. My artist experience basically begins and ends with making doodles at work. So really anybody can do this kind of stuff. I'm no pro. It just takes a little bit of time. You just got to be patient. The more you do, the better you get at it, the better you can make these look. Um, the happier are you are with your work and all that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of practice and um, being patient, figuring out how far you want to go on these, how much you want to do. I'm actually gonna do something like that down there with that one, and we'll probably add a little bit more down here. Actually, I don't like that. I'm gonna get rid of that. See, the nice thing about working on these programs here too is if you don't like something, it's easy just to immediately make a change. I think we might actually even do that with that eye. Yeah, he doesn't look too bad. I'm happy enough with him. We might do a little bit more here just to kind of get a little bit more in the spirit of what it looked like on here. So we might actually make these a little bit bigger too, just to kind of give them a little more. Let's stick to the same shape on these. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, it's all right. That's all right. We'll go with that. Okay, now we're going to call him done. He looks pretty solid. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to take out this and this and just make it flattened out. I think it'll look a little cleaner that way. Yeah, so he doesn't look too bad. So we're just going to add the outline, Shift O, and we want it to be 2 pixels. So we got that there. And there he is, he's done. And you can see right away a massive difference between these two guys. So we are going to save this one as Mad Dog Clean. And so we have Mad Dog's Dirty, we have Mad Dog's Clean. Let's change his name. Let's make sure we have it consistent. Let's keep it consistent with the dogs, just so it's easier for us to find them and get them into our mod. So, all right, let's do all our assets. So once we get done with the A sprite cleaning, we are going to head back to the GIMP to do the blur, to do the arrow, and to do the end zone. So we're going to pull our Mad Dog Dirty in here. We're going to make sure that he is in RGB color mode because when we do the blur, we're going to want to make sure it looks good. So to do the blur ends up being a 10 pixel motion blur at a 90-degree angle, so up and down. So our height we're going to want to be 10 pixels higher than our logo. So when we're going to up the height to 95, we're going to center them, we're going to resize it, and then we are going to go to Filters, Blur, Linear Motion Blur, and we're going to want the length at 10 pixels, and we're going to want the angle at 90. And then he's done, so we're going to save him as, we're going to export him as Mad Dog's Dirty Blur. And then we're going to close him down, and we're going to do the same for the clean version, the version who does not swear, who does not work in the blue. And since I'll show you how to do it again, but since we did one, usually I save all my blurs for the end because then you can just hit repeat linear motion blur and keep going on them. Oh, something important we have to remember to do. We're going to want to change him to RGB color mode. We can just override him right away. And we are going to, if you don't do that, then when it blurs, it's not going to blur the colors and it's going to look real smeary because it's going to only be using 4 colors. Whereas if we go back to RGB mode, it will pull those transparent pixels back out. So again, we want to do height at 95, 10 pixels more than our canvas, than our logo size. We're going to center them, we're going to resize, and then, like I said, we can repeat linear motion blur. We'll undo that so I can show you how to do it again. Blur, linear motion blur, 10 pixels, 90-degree angle, done. And then we can export him as Mad Dog's clean blur. All right, at this point, before we get too far, we're going to want to put these into the correct folder in game, just so I don't have a whole bunch of logos hanging around in my downloads file. So we're going to go back to, we can actually close up you got to see my dirty desktop. I was trying not to show anybody how dirty my desktop was. So we're going to want to go back to data. Yeah, things just end up on there and I clean it every once in a while, and it was my shame that I didn't want anyone to see, but now you have, so I can't take it back. All right, so these are going to go into the custom logos folder, and they just go in where this blank helmet is. This is where they all go. So we're going to head back to the downloads. Where's my downloads? Okay, it opened up over here. And we're just going to drag all these back into here. And then we are done with downloads, so we're going to close it down. So now we have our logo and we have our blur for the 2 logos we have in. And actually what I'm going to do, so these don't get mixed all together, is I'm going to rename them. We'll do Dirty Mad Dogs. Maybe we'll leave that in there. Mad Dogs. And then we'll do Clean Mad Dogs. This way, when we start getting more logos in here, they don't mix together where they're not supposed to be. All right, so now we need an arrow. So we're going to go into the templates folder. We're going to copy this blank arrow, and we are going to paste it into here. And now we have a blank arrow that we can open up in GIMP. We can grab our logos folder, and then we're going to put the clean Mad Dog guy in here. And for logos, you know, it's just whatever you think looks good. Or for arrows, you know, I don't spend a whole lot of time on here. Usually if something has eyes, I try to get the eyes in there, because we're just putting it in the arrow. So we're going to have a second layer. We're going to make sure the logo is in the layer behind. Then we're just going to grab our eraser. It's usually easier if you have a square. I usually go about 15 to 20. Oh, and why are you doing that there? Dynamics off. We need a hard edge on that. We want the hard edge so it gets everything. And you're just going to trim off anything that is not inside your logo. And then we can export this as, this was Clean Mad Dogs, I believe. So, whoops, we got caps lock on. We don't need to scream. Clean Mad Dogs arrow. And then we're going to do the same. I'm just going to delete that layer out. And we're going to put the dirty Mad Dog in there. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure he's behind. We're going to move him where we like him. Get some eye, get some teeth. And then we are going to erase anything hanging out behind this guy. And then we're just going to export him as the Dirty Mad Dogs arrow. All right, now we're basically going to do the same thing for the end zone. We're going to grab a template, get the beast end zone in here. We're going to copy it, and we are going to paste it into the logos folder. And then we can load this one up in the GIMP. Whoa, we forgot to close that down. Let's try that again. We'll load that into the GIMP. Much better. Then we'll add a new layer, and we'll just delete this beast one off. We'll delete the beast layer. So then we just have the blank canvas in the correct size. So we're just going to do something simple with this end zone. You can kind of get wild if you want. Maybe we'll do, just for the fun of it, we'll do a real simple design. What am I looking for here? All right, we're just going to grab one of our Mad Dogs so we can get the colors. We're going to want some of this red here. We're just going to do some easy stripes. We'll do it at we'll get them at a 45-degree angle here. We'll just do some random nonsensical striping here. Striping and piping. Just for something a little more visual. Well, yeah, we don't want to fill the whole selection. I don't know why my settings got messed up. All right, and we'll do a skinny one here of a different color. We'll fill this. And we'll do just one more stripe here. Just to get something a little bit different. I just hid this layer with the dog. Grab the yellow. What? Oh, I'm grabbing the background. Okay. You just got to make sure you're on the right layer there, bud. And we'll do that. Just do a simple little design there. Then we'll delete that. So we have a little design there, and then we'll just put the Mad Dogs, some Mad Dog wording on there. So we're going to get a text layer. And then we have to, I wish I was on my laptop. I have way more fonts, but we can probably find something that will work. All the base fonts are not very inspiring. They're kind of boring. I don't even have a university font. We could be real funny and do Comic Sans. All right, we'll go about, start with 150 size. We can always go a little bit bigger if we need to, and we'll do it black. And we're just going to put in a Mad Dogs. And like what I like to do for these two, as you can see, we're getting those fuzzy pixels again. So what I like to do is I like to, once I have the text the size that I like it, and this isn't bad, I like to cut it. Well, we got to be selecting first. So I like to cut this layer with Control X. Is it going to do it? There it goes. And then we're going to paste it into a new tab, which you can do with Shift, Control, and V to paste into a new one. And then we're going to use that index color again, and we are going to change this to an indexed color and just do the basic minimum 2. And what that's going to give us is it's going to give us a lot of these pixels we're going to start to get rid of. It's going to just pick 2, and then we can select by color, and as you can see, it's going to select, if your threshold is high enough, it's going to select all the black and everything that's almost black. And then I just grab a brush and I brush over it and change all those transparent pixels to black. And then a lot of times what I'll do too, so I can see kind of what it looks like, is I'll change back to RGB, and then I'll just get a white or black background so I can see if there's any kind of touch up that need to be done on these letters. And they don't look too bad, but I see on our M here we could do a little bit better. We could, whoops, we want black though. We could touch it up a little bit, make it look a little bit better, make it look a little more uniform. I don't like single pixels a lot of the times, so I'll either add another black one or whatever. And this doesn't look too bad. This looks pretty clean. It gives the end zone that kind of stays true to the game with that pixelated look. So we're just going to grab this. We're going to cut that with Control X. And then what I like to do is, actually we won't need to do that, because as long as you have everything selected, if you paste this in, it's going to center it for you. Which I don't know if we actually want to center it, because I don't know that I want it touching our colors over there. So what we are going to do is give ourselves a guide, a horizontal guide, so we can keep this centered in the up and down. But we're just going to pull it over a little bit so it's more centered in the white rather than, and you can get in and measure this and make sure it's perfect, but this actually looks okay. So this will be both the end zone. This will be the end zone for both our teams. And you can merge it down if you want, and then we're done with that one. Actually, I can show you real quick. Actually, we can do it on here. If you wanted to add a border to your letters, we could have kept this in a separate separate layer if we wanted to, but since this is just white behind and we don't have any other black anywhere. Oh, I see a mistake. We have to fix that mistake quick. Okay, so sidetracked. We are going to add a border here, so you can just select by color, select all the black, and then go to the select menu, and we're going to grow this by 1. I always like to grow it by 1 at a time. For whatever reason, I feel like it does a better job staying uniform that way. And we'll just fill in some of this reddish color. Whoops, we missed there. Some of this reddish color around. And actually, if we wanted to now do we could even grow it one more time. We could add a thin yellow so we can pull all those colors from the logo into this in another way. And actually too, I have, what I've been doing for my other mods is I have a texture layer that I made, and it brings the texture from the field, and you can lay it over the top of this if you want to texture your end zones as well. I don't have that handy, so I am not going to put that on there right now. We're going to call that done. That doesn't look too bad. So we are going to export it as, we'll do 2 versions. We'll do clean Mad Dogs end zone. And then we will do a dirty Mad Dogs end zone. All right. So I think we're done end zones. We're going to close this down. The last logo we need to do is we need to do a helmet logo. So we're going to go back to logos. We have a blank helmet here. And we just want to make a quick mini helmet logo that will show. We don't want to do the whole helmet anymore. We used to do them like that, but now that the game the game controls the color of the mini helmet, all we need is the logo. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up this helmet. We are going to add another layer, maybe. Well, damn it. Oh, okay. New layer. It's set up, it's set up a little different than on my laptop, so sorry about that. All right, so layer one, or layer should be the helmet. Layer one we're going to draw over the top of, and that's where we're going to put our logo. So we're going to need another logo. We're going to need the Mad Dog logo. So we can grab the colors. And we're going to want our brush size to be 4 pixels, but we want it to be square. I like to do mine 4 pixels. That's how the ones in game are done. So I like to just keep it consistent. So we're going to grab this yellow. We'll see if it'll carry over for me, and it will. So we're going to add this to the color. And then I really don't like doing these. Not that good at them. So I would prefer not doing them. And this one is actually kind of weird. I'm going to use the other helmet. There's a helmet in templates. This one, the pixels are not lining up as well as the other one does. We're going to grab the helmet from templates, actually, because that one looks better. And you'll see what I mean in a second here. So you can see how they fit better. So we're going to add a new layer. They fit better. So we are going to want to stick with that. And as I said, I really dislike doing these helmet logos. We're just trying to get something that kind of looks like that dog. I'm not too overly picky on these. A little black nose. I always figure if it kind of looks like what it's supposed to look like, then we did good enough. Maybe we'll give him what could be mistaken for as teeth. See, it doesn't have to be too wild. And when you're using the 4 pixel blocks anyway, you can't be super detailed. So we just want it to kind of look like what it should look like. And then I usually do a little bit of shading just so it shades the same as the helmet. And we might actually move him a little bit where he goes on the helmet. So that would take that pixel out. And see, he already kind of looks a little bit better, I think, that way. So, like I said, when we hide this here, you can see how some of these pixels land on lighter areas. So what I like to do is kind of shade the logo the same as the helmet. Like you pretend that the helmet is hitting it, the light is hitting it the same way. All right, so you can see that I put some darker ones where it was darker. And then we're just going to lighten up the black. I'm going to lighten up the black a hair. Our black is not black. Our black is greenish. Gotta go and be green on me. All right, let's lighten it just a hair. And then we're going to delete the helmet layer from behind. And then we'll have our logo right there. He looks a lot cuter than the Mad Dog, but we're not scared. Oh, we want to make sure we have it in, I want to go back one folder. No, we do not. We're going to go to the parent folder because we want to make sure he goes into our logos folder. So we have Dirty Mad Dog's helmet. And then we'll save him one more time as Clean Mad Dog's helmet. Solid typing skills there. All right, so now we have all our logos done. So we can see in our logos folder, we have all our assets done. So we have the main logo, we have the arrow, we have the blur, and we have the end zone, and we have the mini helmet. So we have 5 logos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for each. All right. So now that we have all that done, we have all the assets that we need for putting our logos in game. So what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to open up a blank spreadsheet, and I use Google Sheets. You can use Excel, whatever works for you. And we're going to import all the different spreadsheets that we might need as far as adding logos. So we're going to go to File, Import, and Upload, and we're going to go back to our logos here, but we're going to go back to the data folder, and we can load up. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll load them all in the same spreadsheet. So we need logos. We need logos. We're a little quick on that one. And we'll just say insert new sheet. And we don't want to convert. We don't want this checked. We want this to be unchecked. Otherwise it messes with stuff I've found. So we're going to load that one up. So we have logos here. Oh, and actually sheet 1 we can delete. We don't need that one. All right, so we have our logos. We're going to want to do the same thing. We're going to want to upload. Oops, those are our Steam apps. We don't need those anymore. We're going to update our, okay, Steam apps, I'm going to close you down. We're going to upload our end zones. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to insert a new sheet. I'm going to make sure that's unchecked, and we're going to import that. And then I think that's basically, let's import colors right away too. Let's import colors. So we might want to add the yellow. We'll do it, we might not do it. We might just use, well, actually we'll show you. All right, so we want to insert a new sheet. And we're just going to do the colors.txt. We're not going to do the helmet stripes and the face mask, because that's actually extra work that we don't need to do. All right, so we're going to go back to logos, and we are going to make sure we have this opened up. We're going to go back to our logos folder. So as you can see, we have a bunch of columns here, and these are where we are going to enter in our logos and make sure that the game is able to pull them. So we need a helmet sprite, a logo sprite, an arrow, a blur. End zone, we just number these, and then logo background color is the default color of the background of the end zone. I just do them all white because, like I said, I usually just hard color the end zone itself. So what we're going to do, the order goes helmet. So we named it, so we named our helmet logo clean mad dogs helmet.png. Mad dogs helmet.png. And in my experience, you always have to include that .png. I know there's some people who can't get it to work if they add it. So if you add it, your logos aren't showing up. Maybe try it without. But mine always asks for it, so I always put it in. And then we have for the logo sprite, we have clean mad dogs .png. Don't think we added logo behind, nope. And then we have clean mad dogs arrow.png, clean mad dogs blur.png, and then this column here just needs to keep counting. So 124 would be the next one. And like I said, I don't care what color this background is. I know that F9 is a real light shade. So I'm just going to put that back there. You can put any hex code you want back there. I believe it might have to be, I just stay safe and copy and paste. It might have to be a color that's in that end zone colors .txt file. So I just do ones that I know are going to be in there. All right, then we can add dirty mad dogs. So dirty mad dogs helmet, dirty mad dogs .png, dirty mad dogs arrow.png, dirty mad dogs blur.png, and we want to keep counting, so 125, and then we'll just do the same color here. Copy that, paste that. All right, so we got those on there. Those are done. And then we're going to go to the end zone sheet, and same thing. We are going to do, you always want to keep them in the same order. So we want to go clean mad dogs end zone and include the PNG as well, and dirty mad dogs end zone. So a lot of times if I'm doing a lot of logos, to make things easier, I just name them one.png and then one arrow, one blur, one helmet, two.png, two arrow, two blur. So I can just count up and then I can copy and paste a little bit easier, and it just kind of makes stuff easier. But since we're only doing two, we can actually name them. And I kind of got used to doing bigger mods, like with the World Cup mod. So just trying to keep things with numbers kind of makes them easier to keep track of, but you don't really need to per se. All right, so now colors. What we're going to do is we are going to add a few of those colors from the logo. So I like to use the website Color Hexa, because with the colors, you're going to want to shade them. You're going to want a light version, a medium version, and a dark version of all the colors, just because of how the game shades assets. So I'm just going to, I mean, you could load these up in, like, maybe we'll do that. I want to grab that green too, so I'm just going to copy this. We're just going to open this into the GIMP so we can quick grab these colors. So we're going to want the hex for this green, and we are going to load that into this website here. And then if you search, you're going to get a monochromatic color version. So you're going to get all the shading. So usually what I do is I grab the one in the middle. We're going to paste it here. I grab the one at this one's kind of dark, so we'll grab this one. It all depends how much you want, how much variation you want between your colors. So it's going to go light on the left, medium in the middle, dark on the right. So then we're going to get a light version. And we're going to put this one in here too. And then we're going to grab the yellow from the dog as well. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put it in here, search for it, grab the color, medium in the middle, dark on the end, and light on the left. And you can have as many colors in as you want. It does not really matter at all. I have some with like 400 colors and they don't crash or anything. So it's all good no matter how many you want to put in there. And then another thing with all of these spreadsheets here, make sure that you don't have anything in any of these other columns. You're going to want to keep everything in where they're supposed to be. It'll crash your game. And then you'll spend how much time trying to figure out what's crashing it. So just be careful about having things out of bounds. You'll get like an out of bounds error. So if things are where they're not supposed to be, you will definitely get an error, and then you'll have to track them down. All right, so we have our logos done, we have our end zones done, we have our colors done. So we are basically done with spreadsheets. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to file, we're going to want to download them as tab separated values. So you can download each sheet individually. So logos, then end zones, then colors. And then we want to show them in the folder. They're going to go into our downloads folder. I don't really need to see all my extra downloads from a long time ago. And then we're going to want to change these over to TXT files. So we're going to want to rename this one to colors.txt. Yes. End zones. It helps if you spell it correctly. That always helps. And then it's just going to pop up and ask you if you want to change the file extension because they might become unstable, but you just say yes because they won't. All right, so now we have a colors.txt and end zones and a logos. So we're going to open up this guy here. I'm going to go back to the data and you can see that these are in here. So we're going to replace the end zones and logos. Replace those. And then as you can see, we have a color space mask, and a color helmet stripe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2 copies of this. I'm going to name one colors face mask .txt and the other one colors helmet stripe.txt. And then we can replace those 3 files in there with those. And now when we boot our game, it better work. We should have our 2 logos and we should have our new colors in. So we're going to knock on wood and hope that we did not mess anything up. I don't understand sometimes why this takes so long to boot. This computer is more than capable of playing this game at a high level. Alright, so let's double check here. When we go to Team Editor, we should have our logos. They should be the last 2 in here. Alright, so we have clean. So we're going to call these guys the Memphis. And all this kind of stuff you can just do right in game. Oops. I hit the wrong button. So I'm going to go back to that. And we're going to call these ones the clean dogs. So we can do all this extra kind of stuff right in here. I'm going to call these guys the clean dogs, and then these guys are going to become the Memphis Dirty Dogs. And then we're going to use the other logo so we can just show you the difference and why we did what we did there. So we're going to back out of here. We're just going to do some quick color. So we have our green. Let's do a solid green one. And if you didn't know, there is a quick skip. It's one of the bumpers. It's M on the keyboard. If you hold M while you scroll through colors, so if you have a lot of colors, it'll skip 10 at a time, which is awesome. It gets you through so much faster, and it's awesome. Alright, we don't want to really do too much here. Let's get a quick home away uniform here. Actually, we want that to be green. Gonna spend all day making uniforms. We'll just do the home and away. We're actually just going to do a home for the Dirty Dogs. Give these guys a stripe just for a little more variety here. We'll let them be yellow. Give them white pants. Give them the white pants. Alright, good enough there. Alright. So now we're going to quick show you, we're pretty much done here now, but we're going to quick just show you why we take the time to go through and clean up these logos a little bit. And we'll be able to see when we get to the field here, we'll be able to see on the midfield logo why I like to clean them up a little bit. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I think they look quite a bit better. Alright, so we'll throw it to this guy here real quick, and he can stand on the logo, and you can see how we got those transparent pixels. Looks kind of fuzzy. We got field show and throw. Let's go take a look at the end zone real quick. This guy's slow. This guy's molasses slow. Looks pretty good. Get a replay. You can see all that. Got our end zone. Got this guy, like I said, you get all those extra. Now we're going to go, we're just going to real quick load up with the clean dogs. And you should be able to see quite a bit of difference in the logo and see why we do them that way. Rockin' music. Alright, so we'll throw it back to this guy. Oh, whiffed him. Alright. So you can see how much better this one looks, how much cleaner. Looks so much better. So much. Getting rid of those transparent pixels makes it look so much better. Alright, so that. Oh, I'm going to show you one last thing real quick. I'm going to leave the game. If you ever want to do custom field colors, custom line colors, inside the templates, there is a field template that we can, getting a little ahead of myself here. So first thing we have to do is we need to make a new folder, and we're going to name this fields. Now we're going to take the field template, we're going to copy that, and you can actually go outside the bounds of this. This is just the lines right here, lines and numbers. Actually, we're going to open it up in, we're going to open it in the GIMP. Get rid of that. We're going to open it in GIMP. Oh, now we're not responding. Maybe I'm not going to show you how to do this. It's going to be uncooperative. Come on. Come on. Why? Why are you doing this to me now? All right. Apparently this doesn't want to do this today. So maybe if you get to this point and you want help, just let me know and we will go from there. All right. Thanks for your time, and I hope this was helpful getting people started modding. Thanks, guys, and peace out.